Logitech is back with some brand new sim racing products, with the R series featuring a new direct drive wheelbase. This is the RS50. It's aimed firmly at sim racers who want to experience direct drive for the first time and get a bit more serious about their racing experience. So, does this thing deliver? Let's get into it. The RS50 is an 8Nm direct drive wheelbase that's compatible with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, depending on the configuration. There's loads of options for players depending on their needs. And the RS50 system bundle, in which you can choose an Xbox and PC or PlayStation and PC compatibility, is £599 or $699. Now, for this price, you get the RS50 wheelbase, you get the RS wheel hub, and you get the RS round wheel rim attached to it. And you also get a table clamp in the box too. Now, you don't get pedals with this bundle, but there are some new RS pedals with the 75kg load cell brake and a Hall effect accelerator that can be bought separately for £119 or $159. And we'll also be checking those out today a bit later on. You can also buy all these components separately, including the wheelbase itself, but we'll get onto upgradability options later on in the review. First up, let's talk design and build quality and take a closer look at the new R series. Now, the RS50 wheelbase is considerably smaller and more compact than the Pro wheelbase, being just 161mm high and 185mm wide and weighing 4.5 kg. It's made from what seems to be a decent quality aluminium with fins along the side and the top. It's also got an OLED screen right on the front here, which allows you to change settings on the fly while you're on the track. Now, in terms of ports, on the back you get 3 USB ports for shifters, hubs, and pedals, as well as a USB-C port for PC and console connection, plus obviously the power port on the back too. Moving on to the RS pedals, those come with a 75kg load cell brake and a Hall effect accelerator pedal, and you can also buy a clutch pedal separately too. Now, this thing is made of steel, it has rubber feet as well as a carpet gripper on the bottom, will also be pretty customizable in terms of where you place the pedals, and you can adjust the load cell and make the pedal harder or softer depending on your preference, and you can do this with some extra spacers and dampers that you get in the box. Now, they don't look or feel like the most premium pedals in the world. Well, that's because they're not, but for the price, I'd say they're pretty decent considering you get a load cell brake and a Hall effect accelerator. Now, the fact that the RS pedals aren't included in the RS50 system bundle brings us to the upgradability of this new Logitech R series lineup, because if you get a racing adapter separately, you can connect a G25, G27, G29, G920 or G923 pedals and use those with the RS50 wheelbase, as well as the driving force shifter or the new RS shifter and handbrake, giving you a nice upgrade option if you're using older or more beginner level equipment. It's nice to see this from a big racing brand, and I hope other brands follow suit with this kind of customization and upgradability. You also, of course, get the RS wheel hub with a round wheel pre-attached, but this can be swapped out with a track wheel, and that is exactly what I've done. I've been using this a lot for GT and Formula racing, so I swapped it out for the track wheel. I'm not going to talk about the wheel hub too much because it's already been out for a while now, but here's the basics of what you need to know. As well as any Logitech rims, you can also attach any third-party wheel that has the same 6-bolt pattern, although Logitech don't recommend wheels longer than 350mm in diameter. One thing I'd say about the Logitech wheel rims is that if you're like me and you get sweaty palms while you're driving, the TPE material they've used gets pretty slippery even with the smallest amount of moisture, so I'd recommend using some gloves if you're set on the Logitech rims. The only problem with that is, of course, is that there aren't that many Logitech wheel options, only a round or track wheel right now. I mean, come on Logitech, hurry up and give us a truck wheel or a GT wheel. Fingers crossed. So for design and build quality, then I'm giving the RS50 a solid 4 out of 5. Now let's talk about features and performance, starting with the RS50. Now the headlines are that it can generate up to 8 Nm of peak torque, much more than the 2.3 Nm you get with the belt or gear driven wheels. It also features True Force, which is Logitech's proprietary technology that translates in-game physics and audio data into haptic feedback through the wheel in supported titles. You also get a table clamp included for those who want to mount it to a desk or table, as well as all the appropriate T-nuts and bolts to mount to a rig. Now let's get into the performance of this baby, and I've tested a lot of wheelbases in the past, as you can see probably behind me, especially a lot around the 8Nm mark, from the Fanatec CSL DD with the boost kit to the Moser R9, even the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 race quite recently. And performance wise, the RS50 stands out to me as particularly impressive, both in the sheer amount of feedback it delivers as well as the range of sensations through the wheel. Now look, maybe it's due to the fact that the RS50 wheelbase is just the very newest wheelbase and direct drive technology has just got better naturally, but Logitech's latest does genuinely feel like it generates more than the 8 Newton meter advertised. So much so that I've genuinely nearly hurt myself, especially around the wrist area here, just a number of times during in-game collisions and crashes, as I just wasn't expecting the sheer amount of force. Now, I've tested it across a wide range of titles, including Le Mans Ultimate, Assetto Corsa Evo, and F125, and it does feel incredibly consistent across all titles. And although Logitech claims it delivers 8 Newton meters of peak torque, it seems to deliver that pretty consistently, even in long races, and I haven't felt any noticeable drop off at any point. Now, as an aside, just before reviewing the RS50, I actually had an Assetech Forte wheelbase on my rig, a wheelbase that generates up to 18 Newton meters of torque, and I'm not going to say that there hasn't been much difference because that would be ridiculous, but what I would say is that my results and driving haven't really suffered at all while having the RS50 mounted instead. So honestly, this will be genuinely life-changing for anyone coming from belt or gear-driven wheels. It is a super impressive piece of kit. Now, let's get on to True Force. And in the early days, I wasn't particularly impressed with it, to be honest, and I wasn't really expecting much from the RS50 either, but honestly, it works really well and it complements the 8 Newton meters of torque nicely by providing that little bit extra detail through the wheel, whether it's a bit of grass or gravel or a change in road surface or that slight loss of traction. It's just something that its competitors can't really compete with at this price point. Now, we'll get onto the price and everything a bit later on, but the force feedback and driving experience using the RS50 is genuinely superb, particularly for a wheelbase that's aimed at beginners. It's honestly very impressive. What isn't so impressive though, and look, being aimed at more beginner sim races, it's no surprise, but the customization options are somewhat limited, to say the least, with the RS50. There are only a handful of sliders to adjust the experience in the PC software and on the wheel itself, including changing the dampener and a force feedback filter, but that's about it. Now, this is probably all you need if you're just starting out, but it is disappointing, particularly with brands like Moza, Fanatec, and Assetech offering heaps and heaps of customization in the menus. For me, it was a bit of a shame, because if you're someone like me who wants to tinker with loads of settings to really personalize your driving experience, the RS50 probably isn't the wheelbase for you. Now, onto the RS pedals now, and overall, they're a good, solid set of pedals that deliver about the performance you'd expect at this price point. And honestly, I've tested pedals more expensive than these that just aren't as good or don't have the features that this does. Now, by default, the load cell is set right in the middle of not too hard and not too firm. It's slightly too soft for me out the box, but this can be customized in either direction, while the Hall effect accelerator is really nice and smooth, and it's more than good enough for even experienced sim racers like me. On the flip side, something that really annoyed me during my review period is the brake pedal itself and the actual brake plate, because while it can be adjusted up and down, I just felt the way it's positioned to be just a bit uncomfortable. I mean, I've got size 10 feet, so I'm not exactly Bigfoot, right? But even with the pedal up on the highest possible point, it was still just a bit too low. And with my foot resting on the foot plate, I was having to put pressure on the pedal from like the middle of my foot rather than where you want it to be, which is just a little bit higher. Now, this is only a minor thing, but when you're racing, I don't think there's anything more important than having confidence under braking. And it's something I had to really adjust to in the early phases and have my foot be floating rather than resting when braking. I mean, just one more notch of adjustment would be all it would take from my point of view, just one little bit upwards. But honestly, that's my only gripe with these pedals. For features and performance, I'm giving the RS50 a very strong 4.5 out of 5. Now, onto value for money. How does the RS50 compare with the competition? Well, Logitech's latest, remember, comes in at £599 or $699 with 8 Newton meters of torque, PC and console compatibility. You get a wheel hub, a wheel rim, and a table clamp. First, let's take a look at the Moza R9 bundle. That comes in at around £748, but that's PC only. You don't get a wheel hub or a table clamp, but it does deliver slightly more torque. From Fanatec, you have the Fanatec CSL DD QR2 ready to race 8 Newton meter bundle, which is a real favorite in the sim racing community. That's only £435 approximately, or $689, but that's PC only, although you do get a set of CSL pedals included. Then there's the Thrustmaster T598 bundle, which is Xbox or PlayStation compatible, comes with pedals, but it's only 5 Newton meters of torque, and that comes in at £449 or $599. Now, for the Turtle Beach Velocity 1, that's £629 or $649, and it does come with pedals too. Finally, there's also the Nikon RS Pure bundle, which is £599, but that is also PC only, although it is also 9 Newton meters. Now, I've mentioned as many as I can in this video, but there are just so many options in this price category. But when you factor in price, performance, and compatibility, the Logitech RS50 RS50 bundle seems to be a compelling value, particularly for console players. Now, Fanatec's bundle for PC players can't be ignored, but for console players, it's a pretty good value. But for PC players, it should also be said that if you want to buy the RS50 on its own and you only want PC compatibility, this thing is priced at remarkable £249 or $299, which even Fanatec can't compete with. That's a really, really strong price for the performance of this wheelbase. So for value for money, I'm giving the RS50 a 4.5 out of 5. There's loads of configurations, but the vast majority are a really strong value compared to the competition. Overall then, the Logitech RS50 bundle, as well as the RS pedals, really are compelling new options for budding sim racers. They offer impressive performance, features, and compatibility, plus upgradability at a comparatively strong price point. Now, there are some compromises with the RS50, but at this price point, pretty much every option on the market has some compromise of some kind, whether that be compatibility, performance, or build quality. But I'd argue that the new Logitech RS50 bundle is one of the more all-round strong options on the market, particularly for PC players who want to become more serious about sim racing. Overall then, we give the RS50 an overall score of 4.5 out of 5 here on All Out Gaming. If you're thinking of buying it and have any questions, drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to get back to every single one of you. And let me know if you have this already. Do you agree? Do you like the new wheelbase? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please drop a like. It really does help with the video. Oh, and get subscribed to see more sim racing content in the future. That's all from me. I'll see you in the next one.